Well, some of it has to do with how the joints are formed and how the joints open. You know, we've got this idea in our head of how perfect horses are supposed to be, and then we got what we brought out of the paddock. You know, and it's not always the same thing. But there are horses that it's like breakover. Try to sit the breakover dead perfect forward. Most of these are aimed here. Some are aimed here. Some are aimed here, one here and one here. So where's the breakover one want to go? It's going to go more in line with the knee a lot of times than where the foot's aimed. If I try to force it, sometimes I'm creating a problem. Some horses I can push it on. So it kind of depends on the situation with the horse and reading what's going on with it. Okay? Looking at the front leg. I don't want to see a knee hyperextended on impact. If he does, it dumps him forward on that shoulder. Just think about it. You know, people say all horses are temperamental. And if you start looking real close at how some of the joints are functioning when they land, and you think about how long you would last if they did that to your knee, you'd be sitting over in the corner. We do a lot of stuff to them that, you know, they're very forgiving in a lot of ways, and that us as humans, we'd probably fall apart from. But yet they keep going, and they don't show it, some of them, until it's a real problem. And if you pay attention to some of these things early on, some adjustments early on can make some big differences, and you wouldn't have to buy Megan a new truck. I mean, she needs one, don't get me wrong. And she will need one. She's got one now. Somebody's got to pay for it. Because you put more miles on the road than I do. And I put a bunch on the road. The movement of the scapula, you've got to have freedom of movement. You've got to have, one of the areas that I will look is like right in here, the muscles in front. If that's locked up and braced up, you're not getting full range of movement. Also, are you hollowing out back here? Behind your withers. Okay. And that can be saddle problem. That can be they're not lifting up. That can be they're just falling in the ground in the front end. That can be all the above. Now, as far, I didn't know you could do that. Wow. So anyway, paying attention to the height of the scapula. I'm learning technology or messing it up. So, paying attention to the height of the shoulder blades and the muscling. It's easy to look down the back and see if I got a shoulder blade that's offset. You can make a file on your horse. You can measure your horse. You can take these little flexi curves when you're getting a saddle and make a measurement and put it in your saddles before you take it home and say this fits, because if it's strapped to the horse, that doesn't mean it fits. Ken? I'm not allowed near technology. Okay, looking at riders. We always look at riders from the side and the alignment, get them nice and straight. And if a rider is really rigid, they're going to create a lot of impact on a horse. If a rider can be soft, maybe their positioning may not be as perfect, but if they can be soft on a horse, it'll be a lot easier on a horse. Fitness level of a horse makes a huge difference. And I'll tell people right quick, I work on some upper level event horses that, the Rolex 4-mile gallop, I think it's 48 obstacles on that 4-star course. Okay, I've got a horse that can go for cruising out the end of that. And I got your dressage horse that works for 10 or 15 minutes in the arena. I have a harder time keeping that dressage horse sound than I do that event horse that can do that 4 miles at the Rolex. It's fitness level. On our endurance horses, they have a much better fitness level than most people's horses. It saves them from a lot. Some of the riding that I see with endurance riders, is it of the level of some of, not really, but the horses are fit enough they can keep going anyway. And they do. But the fix on that uneven in the back end was push the rider to the middle of the horse. but she had sat in that position for so many years, that's where she felt like she was comfortable. And it interfered with the movement pattern. So instead of fixing her positioning, over time, we retired the horse. Over the years, did it take a toll on that horse? Yes, it did. Because some of those movement front end problems where the front feet were always compressed down. And with that kind of a movement problem, you couldn't get the horse off of the front end to allow the feet to be where they probably more naturally would have liked to have been because there was just too much down pressure on them.